I went to law school here in Fort Lauderdale called Nova Southeastern University. It's a very fine law school. And I went to law school because I really believe that the law was a very, very noble profession. It took me a while to find my fit in my work. I got out of law school and I couldn't find a job. I started doing commercial, general real estate types of practice and was incredibly successful and thought I was going to die. I was really, really off my personal path. And so for me, I stopped practicing for a couple of years. My daughter was about 18 months at the time, and kind of took my marbles in terms of the monies that I had, saved up from my work. And I went home and I really reevaluated whether or not I could find a reentry for myself in how I could match my desires, my humanistic kinds of desires, with the practice of law. And the public guardian position was probably the breakthrough position for me. Got me into advocacy, got me into working with people with all kinds of disabilities, and began a process that really, I think, has led, not only to the mental health court, but to work I do even in my regular criminal division now, understanding that, whether you call it therapeutic jurisprudence or restorative justice or having a peace court or whatever you do, that, human beings are complex, that life is hard, and that there is a definitive connection between our mental health, how functional we are as human beings, and the consequences of what happens when our families are broken, or what happens with victimization, or how do we respond to trauma from childhood and other areas, and what really is criminal and what is red flags of needing help, and the issues of what drives substance abuse, and all of the complexities of what makes human beings make personal choices and try to feel better about themselves, often leads to non-constructive consequences. So understanding all of that in an interdisciplinary way, and learning about trauma, and learning about good mental health, and learning about domestic violence and substance abuse and suicidality, and all of these issues, you really begin to understand that the law, through a therapeutic model, through a restorative justice model, is probably, I think, one of the most powerful instruments that we have institutionally. That the work that all of these individuals do internationally and here in the United States, obviously, through this movement, I think is remarkable. And my hope is that it continues to expand, that it spreads into our schools, that our schools also begin to adopt therapeutic models of education, of restorative personhood, that we really begin to understand the power of promoting peace in really everything we do on a core level, and what it means. I think this is the new age. I think that this is absolutely necessary. The disparity of wealth, the disparities of education, the disparities of resource, just leads to this constant incarcerative trend. And it is just a profound, not only waste of productive humanity, but I think that the suffering is extraordinary. So to be able to counter that through this therapeutic model in any way has been, really, really significant. I think, well, personally, I was raised in a Jewish household, Jewish family, where social responsibility is everything. And that every Jewish, kid is supposed to grow up and make life better and repair the world. And that is a Talmudic teaching. And so I think for me, I'm just kind of following my family values with this work. And I do think that there's a tremendous amount of relevance. I think that we're going to find, as you are doing your work, that we're going to continue to see evolutions of integration, of collaborative spirituality, faith, in terms of the integration in law, the conversations that happen in courtrooms. Individuals, I think, are going to be much more comfortable talking about the importance of integrating faith and spirituality in terms of their own life plans, in terms of moving away from patterns of incarceration. How do you do it? What does a good, solid, comprehensive, holistic life plan look like without faith, spirituality built into it? I think it's essential. And I think we, as human beings, all kind of have that shared commonality, that shared thread, and again, very powerful, and becoming much more part of court conversation, not in a religious sense, but in a spirituality sense. So I'm very comfortable talking in my courtroom about the essence of that, the essence of humanity, and how we need to, we're all responsible for our own destiny and for turning our lives around. And so if you're talking to individuals who are incarcerated and saying, what happened to you? What happened to you? Tell me your story. I'm telling you mine, but I want to hear theirs. And I think that that very old world process of storytelling and giving voice is incredibly important. And what's always distilled out in that is issues of faith and culture, and not to be taken lightly.